So is ESG a luxury for companies? Well, my short answer is definitely not. When you look at how companies are valued, you'll understand the importance of ESG and why companies should really focus on material ESG issues. Research done by Ocean Tomo over the last 45 years shows that in 1975, when you took the market cap of S&P 500 companies, 83% was represented by physical and financial assets, with about 17% represented by intangible assets. That research has been replicated over 45 years, and in 2020, it showed that only 10% of the market cap of these companies was represented by physical and financial capital, whereas 90% was represented by intangible assets. So what makes up that 90%? It is human capital. Human capital is probably one of the biggest assets of listed companies today. You lose your staff, you lose productivity, that has an impact on the bottom line. Environmental capital. What's the impact of the operations of your company on the environment? What are your negative externalities? And companies that try to externalize their costs on the environment and also society do not generate long-term returns for investors because they subject themselves to reputational damage and also the risk of regulatory intervention. And you've got social capital, the interaction of your operations with society. Companies can't operate without that interaction with society and generating what's termed as the social license to operate. And lastly, intellectual capital. What is the company doing to stay abreast of technology changes and risk being, creating a stranded asset? And so that's where the value is created and destroyed in these non-financial issues. And it's really important for companies and boards and leadership teams to understand what's material, what needs to be managed, and to communicate that to investors and other stakeholders. Now, where I work at Brunswick Group, we have a continual process of research involving active investment managers. And we really want to understand what drives their investment decision-making process. And we ask the same questions, they vary slightly, but over a number of years. The number one issue that they look at is the quality of management and the governance. So G is really important. We also try and work out where E&S sort of fit in their decision-making process. And what they're looking for are issues around E&S that, if they are not managed well by the company, will cause implications in terms of cash flow and valuations. So that's why it is really important for companies to understand what those material issues are. It's not everything. It's not a laundry list of issues, and it's not a compliance issue. And to really articulate how the exposure the company has to these issues is well managed, because you cannot deliver long-term returns to shareholders without managing what represents such an important part of the valuation of the company. Now, I am a supporter of shareholder primacy. The board can only have one master, being shareholders. But to be able to deliver those long-term return for shareholders, boards and leadership teams need to take a multi-stakeholder approach in terms of delivering to shareholders in the longer term.